Soon, Athens police officers will be recorded out in the field. In sports, one Ohio player overcomes a tough injury to play for his team. And we'll have a special segment looking at medical marijuana laws and facilities and how it affects the region. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Steven Hernandez.
And I'm Ben Schwartz. Thanks for joining us. Athens City Police will be wearing body cameras. The City Council passed the measure last night.
It was one of 13 ordinances up for final consideration at last night's City Council meeting. John Weiner has more on what ordinances passed.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. And with that, City Council approved the use of body cams by Athens Police.
One of the reasons why I was supportive of the body cam legislation is that I really believe that Chief Pyle did his due diligence and did his homework. I think that this is going to be a system that is going to, again, safety's paramount.
Besides just making Athens safer, Butler says the body cams come with so many advantages, it makes them a no-brainer.
It's a system that will be cloud-based technology. It'll save purchasing of thumb drives, and it'll allow access of information for a number of professional entities.
Although there were 13 ordinances for third reading at City Council's meeting on Monday, a lot of them had one theme: transportation.
Our largest asset, if you think about it, is our city streets and the infrastructure underneath them.
A large portion of the meeting was dedicated to discussing that asset.
There's so many different Ohio Department of Transportation granting mechanisms. There's the Transportation Improvement District, which you heard tonight. You also heard Transportation Alternatives Program, that was tonight. And then there's the Stimson Avenue Engineering.
City Council passed ordinances entering grant programs with ODOT for transportation alternatives and for a fully ODOT-funded repair to a bridge deck on Route 33. Although Council did have to table one transportation ordinance, the one piece of legislation tabled at the meeting was the annual street repaving.
Because the list isn't finalized yet for Council to see, but again, that's another big thing. As I mentioned, we have 192 one-way miles of streets in the city of Athens, and a lot of them are in, various states of various conditions.
Council also opened the door for e-scooters to operate in the city.
The group passed an ordinance to explore contracts with vendors. The city sees the e-scooters as another way to make money.
My apologies for that. Hi everybody, I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. A beautiful day out there in Athens today. Very warm, 79 right now in Athens. Humidity 43%, pressure at 29.88 inches, and falling as a cold front makes its way through the area. Winds are out of the west at 11 miles an hour. All across the area, temperatures are in the lower and middle 70s, 74 in Columbus, 73 in New Lexington. A cool 61 in Marietta due to that rain-cooled air, but look off to the south, 85 in Ripley, 84 in Ironton. All under partly cloudy skies, just a gorgeous day. Here are the highlights over the next couple of days. A stormy evening as cold front's making its way through, cooling down over the next couple of days, and a wet week as that cold front will stall out. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes, Stephen.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Let's head over to Brian, who has the latest sports news in the region.
Last night you heard from one of Ohio men's basketball's newest players, Ben Roderick. Roderick is the highest-rated recruit to come to Athens in the past 10 years. Thomas Garvick has a story on Roderick overcoming adversity to get to Ohio, and why it might have been fate that he would be a Bobcat.
And Roderick now be attending Ohio University to play basketball and study business.
Ben Roderick's basketball journey to Ohio University wasn't always easy. In the middle of his junior year of basketball, Ben tore his ACL, ending his season.
Without that injury, he's in an elite group of over 2,000 points. And I've coached two guys in my career that have scored over 2,000 points. And that was taken away from him, and he just made the best of the situation. We all go through ups and downs in life, and he had a downer, and he brought it up.
I really didn't focus on college or any basketball or anything. I just focused on just getting better. And then once I stepped on the court,
it took me a little bit, but then it all came back to me, and I really had a hunger and a chip on my shoulder to prove everyone that I was definitely the same player I am, but a lot better as well.
Roderick's senior season couldn't have gone any better. He averaged nearly 28 points and 8 boards a game, and he was named Ohio's Gatorade Player of the Year.
Sometimes you got to have something get taken away before it can maybe have more success. I think the injury made him hungrier. It made our seniors to be hungrier, and it resulted in a league championship and a Final Four appearance.
We knew this is our last ride to go out, and we really wanted to prove everyone that we were the best team in Columbus, and we did that, and it was an unbelievable feeling getting to the Final Four.
It then became time to decide what was next for Ben's future. That's Ben, all geared up in the green and white. His dad, Joe, an Ohio alum, now gets to see his son play at his alma mater.
An absolute dream come true. He's a really good kid. We couldn't have asked for a better son, and just really excited for him to take this to the next level and get to know the people of Athens and get to know the OU family, really.
They get to come to a lot of the home games, so I'm happy about that. I'm just going to represent our family name and then the Ohio University in a well manner.
I joked with Coach Bowles that we may need about 30 tickets every game, because between the family members we all have that graduated from there as well, but all the people that have supported him and want to see him play. So we may have to buy a passenger van or something to get down there.
Sounds like Ben will be bringing a fan club with him to Athens. Thomas Garvick, WOUB.
The Ohio baseball team has been playing some pretty good baseball. The Bobcats are coming off a sweep of Eastern Michigan and are winners of 5 of their last 7 games. Ohio is currently in action against Youngstown State and is trailing 1-0 in the second inning. The sweep at Eastern Michigan put Ohio over 500 in MAC play. They have an 8-7 conference record. Overall, the Bobcats are 13-24. Youngstown State has struggled this year. The Penguins are 9-31 overall with a 5-13 record in the Horizon League. Ohio returns home this weekend as they welcome Kent State to town. This past weekend, the Ohio women's golf team participated in the MAC Golf Championships held in Noblesville, Indiana at the Purgatory Golf Club. The Bobcats finished in 7th place. Senior Emily Hughes was Ohio's top performer and tied for 14th place overall with a 2-day total of 225 and 9 over par. Freshman Catherine Loftus finished in 23rd place and registered a 2-day total of 231 and 15 over par. Lastly, senior Nicole Smiley finished in 26th place with a score of 232 and 16 over par. Kent State took home the team championship. I'm Brian Kerp, and that's it for sports. Stephen and Ben, back to you.
Thank you, Brian. Coming up, Nicholas Snyder will have the full forecast for the week.
Plus, a special segment look at the medical marijuana business in Ohio. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Welcome back. I'm Nicholas Snyder. Well, we saw a gorgeous day today. You can actually tell where the cold front was draped when the highs came through the area. It was only 73 in New Lexington and 74 in Columbus. But look at this, 80 in Athens, 83 down in Ripley, 84 in Ironton. Under mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies as we went throughout the day. Now, here's our satellite map right over here over in southwestern Ohio. This is where these thunderstorms initiated. This is a couple of hours ago, this satellite picture. And those have moved off to the east, and we still have a couple of thunderstorms off to our, well, all across our viewing area, rather. This storm has moved through Athens County. These storms have since moved out of the viewing area. But yeah, we had a couple of thunderstorms come through. We have a lot of lightning over in this one over in western West Virginia. So a pretty stormy day. It's all due to this shortwave trough in the jet stream right here. That stirred up that cold front and brought in those thunderstorms. Also a little bit of a jet streak here in Iowa and Illinois. That stirred up that low pressure. That brought in those thunderstorms earlier on. And it also kicked up some wind. We had some pretty hefty winds here in southwestern Ohio in the double digits, 10, 11 miles an hour. Here's that cold front right about here where those winds change direction. So again, cold front right here, that stirred up those thunderstorms. That has since pushed off to the east. And as we go throughout the night, clear skies will become cloudier. Thunderstorms move in this evening, and later on this evening, we could see some strong thunderstorms, but the severe threat will not exist. So we could see some strong winds or maybe a little bit of hail, but really no severe thunderstorms forecasted tonight. 69 at 8 p.m., 61 at 10 p.m., and 59 at midnight. Thunderstorms will clear out as we go throughout the night, and they'll become less and less lightning and thunder as we go throughout the night, as well as they lose their punch. So thunder showers will be at about 10 p.m., but again, they'll clear out by midnight at 59. So the low tonight, 48, scattered thunderstorms, again, clearing after midnight. Winds will be out of the north-northwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. All across the area, it's going to be really chilly. Temperatures will cool down into the lower and middle 40s. 43 in Columbus, 42 in Newark, 44 in New Lexington. 52 will be the warm spot down in Ripley, 54 will be the warm spot down in Ironton. Those thunderstorms will push off to the east and move out of the viewing area by midnight, as I said earlier. Morning planner, 50 at 8, 56 at 10, 59 at noon. Clouds will continue throughout the day. We have a 20% chance of rain as those rain showers and thunderstorms move out of the area earlier on tomorrow morning. 68 will only be the high tomorrow, so it's going to be a chillier day and mainly cloudy as well. Winds will be out of the northwest at 0 to 5 all across the area. Temperatures only in the middle and upper 60s. 63 in Columbus, same in Newark, 66 in New Lexington. Here's our warm spot, 68 in Athens and in Ironton, all under mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. And it's all due to this cold front. It's going to stall out, become a warm front, and it's going to bring in rain showers for the rest of the week. And that's why we're going to see pretty mild temperatures over the rest of the week as we look at the 10-day air masses. Really not much going on in changing of air masses as well. We're just going to stay pretty mild. We have cooler air coming in for Saturday and into Sunday before warm air surges up next Wednesday. Extended forecast will warm you back into the 70s on Friday before cooling you down again Saturday, 68. Sunday, only a high of 62 with rain possible. Monday, 62 as well before warming you back up into the 70s for next week with a 40% chance of rain. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Nicholas. Medical marijuana is legal in Ohio, but there aren't a lot of dispensaries or doctors who can recommend the card in Southeast Ohio.
We'll have a medical marijuana segment next on Newswatch.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
and PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Medical marijuana is legal in some form in more than half the states in the U.S., including Ohio, but the treatment is always debated.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency still considers marijuana a Schedule I drug, so not much research has been done. The FDA has not approved marijuana as a safe and effective drug, but has approved 2 man-made cannabinoid medicines.
So what does marijuana do? Cannabinoids, active chemicals in the plant, are similar to chemicals in the body. Research shows the chemicals help with things such as reducing anxiety, relieving pain, controlling nausea, relaxing muscles, and stimulating appetite. And there are multiple ways you can take it. Smoke it, vape it, eat it, apply it to your skin, or take it by liquid form. Like most medicines, there have been some side effects reported. First, the drug may affect judgment and coordination. Cannabis may also cause bloodshot eyes, depression, dizziness, fast heartbeats, hallucinations, or low blood pressure.
In 2016, Ohio became the 26th state to legalize medical marijuana, and it's a lucrative business in Ohio. The Medical Marijuana Control Program reports patients spent more than $300,000 on cannabis during the first 2 weeks of sales. $75,000 was on the first day alone. The only way you can get medical marijuana is to go to a dispensary. Caitlin Coolidge looked into open local medical marijuana facilities. Caitlin, are there a lot of dispensaries open in Ohio?
Well then, according to the Ohio Medical Marijuana Control Program, there are 13 medical marijuana dispensaries with certificates of operation, and Buckeye Botanicals in Jackson is one of them. And its doors opened in February, and manager Alex Whiting says he hopes the dispensary will not only help people with their medical problems, but will help mitigate the opioid epidemic here in Ohio.
I've actually had patients that told me, medical marijuana has helped them get off the opioids and stop taking painkillers and stuff like that. So, we're here to help, and we're here to educate.
Whiting says they sell CBD flowers and oils that can both be taken orally by adding them to food and drinks, but people need to first be prescribed a medical marijuana card by a medical marijuana doctor before they can receive anything from Buckeye Botanicals. The qualifying conditions to get a card include PTSD, IBS, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, as well as other medical conditions, Ben.
One local area that is hoping to cash in on medical marijuana business is Meigs County. Go to WOUB.org to read about how Meigs County wants to fill the loss of coal jobs with marijuana jobs. And like Caitlin said, you can get a medical marijuana card. To get a medical marijuana card, you have to go to a doctor with a certificate to recommend. To get the certificate, a doctor must go through a series of steps, including 2 hours of continuing education classes. While there isn't too much the doctors have to do to get the certificate, there isn't many doctors who have it in Southeast Ohio. There are only 4 in this region: Athens, Hocking, Perry, Washington. And while there is a dispensary in Jackson, though there are no doctors with certificates in the county. So they would have to travel more than 30 minutes to get to a doctor who could recommend them for a medical marijuana card.
Thank you, Stephen. There's a similar treatment to medical marijuana. The marijuana plant contains more than 100 different chemicals known as cannabinoids. As research into marijuana's medical purposes and benefits continue, there's a lot of discussion about the difference between 2 of the main chemicals used in the medicine, THC and CBD. Newswatch reporter Elise Hammond explains the difference.
THC and CBD fall under the big umbrella of what we call medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is being used more frequently to treat conditions like chronic pain and inflammation, epilepsy and seizure disorders, and even mental health conditions like depression and anxiety. THC and CBD have the exact same chemical formulas. Their atoms are just arranged in a different order. The main difference between the two chemicals are the effects that they have on your brain. THC contains a psychoactive ingredient that produces the high effect by activating your brain's reward system and triggering a release of dopamine. CBD, on the other hand, does not produce the same high feeling. Instead, CBD increases the level of a naturally occurring chemical in your brain that helps regulate serotonin and trigger your emotions. As research about medical marijuana increases, experts say it's all about finding the right balance of THC and CBD. That's depending on the person and their condition. For example, a high CBD strain would deliver clear-headed functional effects, while a more balanced strain would have more euphoric effects, but with less of the anxiety and paranoia more associated with the THC dominant strain. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Elise Hammond.
CBD and hemp are not only used by people, but pets too.
Leah Lauderback and her mom, Karen Boger, used CBD on their dog.
Callie was bought from a shelter and experiences anxiety and aggressive behavior. They're training her to behave better, but they say CBD treats significantly help.
I've noticed definitely a decrease in her anxiety and actually her aggression. Like when I walk her, I don't feel scared to walk her anymore around other dogs.
Boger, who works for a company that sells CBD and hemp products, says the treats help calm Callie without getting her high.
It's always been the hippies' disappointment. I mean, you can't get high off of hemp. And the cannabidiol is actually the antagonist to the tetrahydrocannabinol. So if you were high, just so you know, if you took CBD, it would actually take your high away. It would balance your body.
However, vets are not legally allowed to prescribe CBD to pets because the FDA hasn't approved CBD or hemp-based pet food. This doesn't stop companies from making CBD treats, though. According to the National Animal Supplement Council, 70 companies that sell CBD pet products attended this year's Global Pet Expo, and that more companies pop up every week. Bill Bookout, president at the National Animal Supplement Council, says companies are able to sell these products because they market them as supplements and not food. This allows them to bypass certain regulations without having their products be labeled as drugs. Coming up, the medical marijuana law isn't the only law that allows people to have marijuana out in public.
Last week, one local law allowed those even without a card to smoke marijuana and not get in trouble with the law. We'll have that story next on Newswatch.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
Residents happily celebrated the 2-year anniversary of the Athens Cannabis Ordinance over the weekend.
The second annual Taco Fest took place Saturday, and I spoke with attendees about the effect the ordinance had over the past couple of years.
Athens residents gathering around the Athens County Courthouse on Saturday in celebration of marijuana. The second annual Taco Fest is held on April 20th, known by many as 420, an unofficial holiday for cannabis enthusiasts. The event attracted around 30 people. Many of them are strong supporters of the plant.
Government outlaws hemp and marijuana when we now know that it is a medicine. And then hemp makes resins and makes all kinds of plastics.
Don Wirtschafter is an Athens resident who attended Saturday's event. He says he's there as a reminder about what is and isn't a crime under Taco.
But we're here to remind Athens that last year the citizens of Athens voted 78% in favor of having this ordinance on our books that makes this not a crime.
A number of attendees Saturday decided to smoke marijuana at the celebration. Wirtschafter said the goal isn't to annoy the public, but to demonstrate what the city allows.
But on our special holiday, it feels appropriate for us to stay off the highway and do this and make it a demonstration that this is legal and it's not against the city ordinances.
As of now, though, it is still technically illegal to possess marijuana in the city of Athens. The Athens Cannabis Ordinance simply depenalized marijuana possession, making it so no one can be charged in Athens under the city's code. Athens Law Director Lisa Eliason says as far as she knows, nobody has been charged for marijuana possession in Athens since the ordinance passed.
I talked with the people in this office, and to the best of my knowledge, no one has been charged under the city code. At least it hasn't reached our office.
Cases only reach Eliason's office if the defendant pleads not guilty. But she says even if it got to that point, with Taco now in effect, her office would change the charge to disorderly conduct.
So after Taco passed, we had some discussion and see that there's a movement. There was a movement away from depenalizing it. If someone would come to us and they're charged under either state law or city law, then we amend the charge to disorderly conduct because a lot of people don't want to have that conviction.
Sarah Koya Bryant helped spearhead the ordinance from its conception, as well as hosting Saturday's Taco Fest. She believes that the most important part of Taco is the message it sends to law enforcement.
We want law enforcement to make cannabis the lowest priority, that we understand cannabis as medicine, that we believe it should be legalized.
Taco is only in place in the city of Athens, so arrests made by county or statewide units can still result in a fine. But for these folks, it's not something they are worried about because of Taco and shifting views on the use of marijuana.
The gathering was held by Grassroots Ohioans, a local nonprofit organization behind 2017's passing of Taco and a number of other local initiatives.
Now let's go to Nicholas Snyder for a final look at the weather.
Thanks, Stephen. Another beautiful day tomorrow, albeit a little chilly. 68, mostly cloudy, so make sure you grab a coat as you're going out and about, as it will be a little bit chilly. We also have a chance of rain further east in the viewing area as those rain showers move out. Much cooler as well. Winds will be out of the northwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour all across the area. Temperatures will be in the middle and upper 60s, 63 in Columbus, 63 in Newark, 66 in New Lexington, 68 here in Athens, 68 in Ironton. Those are the two warm spots. 67 in Ripley, 66 in Jackson. Mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies all across the area. Extended forecast 70 on Thursday with a 90% chance of rain. 71 on Friday, cooling you down back into the 60s for the weekend. Look at this high of 62 on Sunday. Quite chilly, warming you back up into the upper 70s by Tuesday. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Nicholas. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Steven Hernandez.
And I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.